welcome to the second part of web scrapping of medical plant records using Beautiful Soup in Python. And for this second part, it will be hands-on. So we'll be writing some of the basic codes required for web scrapping, and these basic codes will be leveraging of what we've learned on Pandas and other libraries. And for this section, we'll be looking at 4 or 5 basic things. Number one is we'll be visiting the medical plant database of India, where we'll be making use of their data record. We'll be scrapping from their website. And at the same time, we'll be making use of several Google or several Python libraries. And also we'll be running our code on Google Colab, which we've been doing all the while. So we'll be looking at about 6 different libraries. We'll be looking at the request library. We'll be looking at the Beautifulsoup4. We'll be looking at the Pandas. We'll be looking at Openpyxl. We'll be looking at the CSV library. Then we'll be looking at the file libraries from Google Colab itself. So let's start coding. So this is the website of the India medical plant, and we are on the home page of the medical plant database of India. If you look at this page, we have several medical plants, their name, their family, their common names in India, then some of the images, the herbarium image and their uses. So, but for this short tutorial, we'll be focusing more on the text data. So we want to scrap the whole data on this page. I think we have about how many pages? We have about 192 pages. And if we are to maybe copy each data one after the other, it might be difficult for you to do, and at the same time it will be difficult for you to format. But we want to scrap the old data using just one code, then export that data into an Excel file in which we'll be able to manipulate and make use of later. So this Indian medical plant database has a total of 1,915 species are listed, and they promise to add 1,000 more species in their next phase. So let's set to work. So first is to go to your Google Colab page. Just create just like in our last class, we created a Google Colab page. So go to your Google Colab online, create a page, then rename your page as maybe your project work. Let me call this my name is Makinde. Let's say Makinde web scrapping. Let me call it Makinde web scrapping. So that makes it easier. So then let's start coding. The first thing as a programmer to web scrap is to install some of the libraries we mentioned. So we'll be installing request library, we'll be installing Beautifulsoup, we'll be installing Pandas, and you can use one simple line of code to do that. So you type pip install requests, that's the first library, put a space, Beautifulsoup4, that's the library name, then Pandas. So let's install and see. So after typing, let's run it and see if it works. So presently installing, okay, we are presently installing request library, installing Beautifulsoup and installing Pandas. It seems we are done. Then next is to install the next library, which is the Openpyxl. So I would advise to install this on a separate line. Don't merge it with the one up there. So Let's click on run to install. Okay, done too. So the next phase now will be to fetch the web title. We want to fetch the web title. The web title here is, if you put your cursor on the tab, the web title here is medical plant database. We want to fetch that web title from this web. We want to scrap it. And the essence of fetching the web title is to show how to get the web title of the web page. For any web page, you can easily use the code we'll be typing next to scrap or to get the web title page. And the first thing is that we'll first download the web page content using the Python request library, then use Beautifulsoup to analyze the HTML structure. Then the code looks for the title tag, that's the HTML title tag, in the web page code and print out whatever text is inside that tag. And this is the simplest way to scrap web page property. So let's do that and see for yourself. So the first thing will be to import, we'll need the requests library, that's number one. Then we'll need to import Beautifulsoup, that's BS4, import Beautifulsoup, type Beautifulsoup, okay. Then next is we need to put the URL of the website. So let's call it URL. So let's copy the website URL. Let's copy this. Let me put it in here, paste. Okay. So we now have, so whatever page you want to scrap, it is important to put the URL. So we are scrapping this website. So that means we need to request. We need to make use of the request library to get the URL. So and store it in the response variable. So let's request.get, then the URL, that is this URL, https blah blah blah. So next will be, let's now pass it into our Beautifulsoup library in order to have a kind of beautiful soup actually. So you know, when your soup is beautiful, you can have a good response. So let's store our response, since it's an HTML, so we are making use of the HTML parser. Please just take note of the spellings. Then let's now use Beautifulsoup to extract the HTML content. Then let's now extract from the title tag, since we are extracting the title of, so let's say soup.find. What are we finding? We are finding the title of the web page, title.text, and we are converting it to text. So let's print my web page title, let me call it, my web page title is what? Is title, because we are storing the title inside this variable title. So my web page title is title. So let's run and see. Okay, as you can see, my web page title is medical plant database. If you like, you can store it in TIT. That means you need to change this to TIT. Still the same thing. You are still going to get the same output, the same outcome. My web page is medical plant database. You can just say web page is full colon dash. So you still get the same thing. My web page is full colon dash medical plant database. The next step now will be to collect all the clickable links on the web page. We want to collect all the clickable links, all these clickable links. As you can see, if I put my cursor on this, it's showing bsi.gov.in/page/en/jumongo/environment. So all these links on this web page, I want to collect everything. I want to scrap it. How do we go about that? So next will be, let's write the code to collect all the links on the web page. So that means let's store it into the variable links. Then our soup, since we've already prepared our soup here, so we'll be using that soup variable continuously. Soup, what are we finding? We are finding all what? The links. We know that in HTML we use A to represent anchor, to represent links. So for link, in all links, that is for link, this will search for the whole link on the web page. Then this will loop through each and every link on the web page. So just make sure you tab it, because if you put your print here, you might get an error. So put your print tab it so that you have a valid response. So let's print. What are we printing? We are printing the link dot. We are getting what? All the ref. And we know that all links are stored inside href. If you remember our HTML. So let's do this. Let's see our output. It seems we are getting error. So for link in links, okay, we omitted a full column here. So it should have a full column. Yeah, here we have it. So we've been able to extract all the links on the web page. All the links on the web page. Every link on the web page, we've been able to extract it. And you can use this code for any web page in the world to extract the same links. So just change the URL, pass, extract the web title, extract the links. It's still the same method, still the same procedure. So here we've been able to collect all the clickable links on the web page, and the code scans through the entire page and finds every A tags, that is this A tags, which helps in creating hyperlinks in HTML. And for each link found, it extracts the web address stored in the href attributes, which is this attribute. And this is very useful in finding all valuable resources or pages connected to the main page of the site you're examining. So the next phase will be to scrap this table now. So since they are making use of a table format, so we are scrapping this thing. We want to scrap the entire data on this web page. We want to scrap the entire data on this web page. So how do we go about that? So first is we locate the table structure in the HTML. Then we now go through each row. As you can see, we have row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5. So we'll go through each row tag, that is the tr tag. Tr is for table row. And within each row, we will now get the content of each row. That's the header. This header now, this tr. Then for this top here is th, that's the header, while the content here is td. So the data is cleaned up by removing the extra spaces and organized into a readable format. Then we can now structure it and export it as Excel. So let's do that now. So let's add extra one code. So in order to go about it, so we are going to store everything in table. Then our soup, we'll cook our soup for table now. That's table. This will help us to find the first table. This code will help us to find the first table on the web page. Secondly is the rows. We want to get all the rows in the table. So table dot find all the what? The tr, the table rows. Tr is for table rows. So next, we want to loop through all the rows now to find the header and the columns and the table data. So for row in rows, full column, you tab it, cells. For each cells, each cells now. As you can see, this cell, this is a cell, this is a cell, this is a cell. So for each of those cells, let's find all the table header underscore all. We are finding all the table header. Don't forget that since we are going to find table header and the table data, so we need to put them in a square bracket. So table data. So this will get the header and the data cells. So it will get this header and the data cells. So we are getting both. Then next will be row underscore data equals you want to strip all the cells of extra spaces. You want to clean it up so that they won't have spaces uh, when extracting them. So let's say all the cell, since we are saving them into the cells structure, cell.text.strip. You are stripping them off the extra white space for cell in cells. So then let's print. Let's print and see our output. Now, what are we printing? We are printing the raw data. Let's see how it looks like. So let's print and run it. So let's see how our code looks like. As you can see, voila. So we have we've been able to scrap the 1920 something records from the website. We've been able to scrap everything from the website, every data from the website. So next now will be exporting that data we scrapped. We want to export it into a CSV. In this format now, it might not be useful to you, though you can copy, but we need to export it into an Excel format, and we'll be able to use that in Excel. So let's now go back. Let's rewrite the code and embed the Excel code into it. So let's restart. In this case, do we already have our Pandas library? We already have our Pandas library, but let's import Pandas as PD now. Let's re-import Pandas as PD. Okay. Let's import CSV. Since we are exporting it as CSV, so we need the CSV file. Then since we want to export it as a file, so we need the Google Colab library of import, the Google Colab library import file. So this should be okay. Then next will be, we want to store all the data into the data table data. Let's call it data table, blank array. So let's now rewrite our code to scrap again, to scrap all the data in rows, just like we wrote it up there. Cells equals to rows. Okay, just like we've written. Let me see. No, there's no append. So next will be table. This table here, since it's empty, table underscore data dot, we want to append all the values here. What we did was to print it out here, but in this case we now want to append this raw data into this table data. So this line of code will help you to append it. Then we now want to convert the data frame appended into, want to convert it to CSV and save it. So let's convert it to a data frame. df equals to pd dot data frame. See, seems my IntelliSense is writing faster than I do. My df equals to pd dot data frame, open bracket, then the table name, this table name. To convert it, you put this table name, you convert it to data frame. So let's print it out and see how it looks. Print df Let's run it and see. As you can see, we've been able to convert it to a table back, to a data frame, and then we should be able to export this to Excel. So let's write the code to export it to Excel. df, that is the data frame, dot to CSV, open bracket. So what do we call the file name? Let's call it medical plants. Let's call it medical plants. .csv now. Medical plant.csv, comma, index equals to false. Then next will be print in order to download. So to show that we've been able to export to CSV successfully, data saved to medical plants.csv. Yeah. Then let's run it. So the data has been saved to CSV, and you should be able to download that by adding an extra line of code. We've been able to save it to CSV. So let's now write a code to download it. Files.download, open bracket. What file are we downloading? Medical plants.csv. Medical plants, sorry. So plants.csv. So df. So let's run this and see. So we are getting an error here. Cannot find file. Cannot find file. Cannot find file. So medical plant. I wrote medical plants. So let's rerun. Okay, we've been able to download. This is the download here. So let's see how it looks like. So we've been able to scrap all the medical plant data on the web page. We've been able to scrap all the medical plant data on the web page. So with this, we've come to the end of web scrapping, and there will be an assessment for you to lay your hands on. I'll be giving you a web page in which you will scrap the data and make the code available and to be submitted online. Thank you very much. Wishing you the best.